Welcome back to this channel. Today, I'm going to make a vintage style wall lamp using this Edison light bulb. It's been a while since my last video. Normally, I'd be at school studying around this time, but as you can probably hear from my voice, I caught a bit of cold. So while resting at home, I thought I'd film this project. I've actually been planning to make this lamp for quite a while. I had the materials ready ages ago, but I kept putting it off. The materials are all set. So, after a quick design, let's jump right into building it. I'm going to cut the base plate first, but it's pretty loud, so let's just skip ahead. This one's pretty noisy too. Let's skip it quickly. I'm using a horse saw to cut the plywood in order to make the wheel that the cord will hang on. All of the plywood I'm using today is bleach plywood. It's very strong and looks great once it's finished, but the downside is that it's a bit expensive.